Today's video is going to be a quick one. I just wanted to do a quick vent about working in an office and what that's like as a person who's never worked in an office before until a couple of years ago. And even after working in an office for several years, I still can't wrap my head around some of the things that I deal with on a routine basis. If you've never worked in an office before, um, congratulations. It's a good thing you're not working in an office. 'Cause it's a different type of torture, you could say, than working in retail or another environment. They both suck for very different reasons. Um, so the first thing that I have an issue with, honestly, with a lot of work in general, is dress code requirements. I don't myself understand what the enforcement reason is for having to dress and look professional. Especially if you're not dealing with customers ever. If you're just in an office, like literally around other coworkers, who are we trying to impress? You're not working with clients or customers. So why am I forced to dress all nice? Like what is the point of it? I feel it should be a choice. You know what I mean? It should be a choice. Obviously, there shouldn't be anything offensive or revealing, but just let people come in and do their job. One example that I really don't like is men aren't allowed to wear shorts. It gets hot. Sometimes shorts are nice. I would thoroughly enjoy as a person when it's 95 degrees outside to go from the office, which is kept at a 72, to go outside for lunch, on a walk, or what have you, or even just to go get food and not be sweating because I'm forced to wear particular clothing, right? It doesn't make any sense why these rules are in place, and it has nothing to do with my job whatsoever. I think it's an antiquated thing that should be honestly abolished. If you're not working with customers, there's no reason to have to dress nice. It doesn't make any sense. You know, everybody knows that everyone's a normal person, goes home, does their own stuff, doesn't dress nice at home, and just exists. So why am I forced to pretend that I'm something I'm not? There's already so many other things involved in an office. Now you have to force me to wear certain things too. I thought left high school behind a long time ago, but apparently not, right? It's kind of insane that you can go from an environment where you go through grade school to high school, and then once you get to college, you can wear and basically do whatever you want. And then you get forced right back into that for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. Another thing that really, really bothers me is the forced interaction, team environment type of stuff. I work in data analysis. Um, Not going to describe what I do, but that's kind of what I do overall as a role as data analysis. I just want to show up to work, not really talk to people too much, and leave. I'm friendly, I'm nice, I'm respectful, I work well in teams. I've never been told I'm not a, good person to talk to. But I don't see my coworkers as friends. They are not friends. They're just people I work with. I like them, insofar as to basically carry out conversation, work related, and minor things, but I have no desire to be friends with these people. They are not my friends. They are not my family. I do not want to spend time with them any more than I have to. I only go to work to show up and get a paycheck and leave. That's all I care about. I do not care about anything else. I don't wish them ill will, and I certainly don't dislike the vast majority of them. But there is team environment requirements, like expected things, especially if you are trying to climb the ladder socially and get into management and get into higher paying positions. You have to play a field. You have to act a certain way. You have to pretend that you care about the company a whole bunch. You have to pretend that you are in it for the team and you're a team player, and you have to show up to these after hours things like My job, for example, does a Christmas party and a Thanksgiving party, right? And some of those are after hours. And you have to make an appearance. You have to show up, and do these things. Otherwise, you will be passed up for promotions because you don't have enough presence and people don't see you, quote unquote, enough. I have literally been told in one of my reviews before that I'm a great worker. I'm really good at what I do. I work well in teams, but they would like to see me participate in more of these team building activities. And my response was no, no, I'm not. And I told my boss that straight in the face. And he understood. But on top of me being autistic, I don't understand why I have to do this. I'm paid to show up and do a job. I'm nice to my coworkers. I do a good job with team environments. I'm not mean to people. People like to talk to me. I get my job done and I leave. And that's all that matters. That's all that should matter. You're paying me to do something. I do a pretty good job at it. That should be enough to say, hey, this person should be promoted, right? But apparently it's not. You have to be a social butterfly to get anywhere. And I think that is just so backwards to myself. Um, it goes back to, it's who you know. And that's just it's really frustrating for people like me who don't really enjoy the social aspect of a lot of things. Um, Now my company also has a lot of nepotism involved, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I can't get past that. But I shouldn't have to perform to get promotions. I shouldn't have to do that. Um, Kind of makes me upset. Another thing is double speak and communication differences and how you have to talk to people. And it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, right? Because in the real world, we don't sugarcoat our language. We don't say one thing and mean another. And I'm not talking about let's circle back or any of that language. Everybody knows that's ridiculous. Um, but I'm talking about things like if someone's wrong in the workplace, let's say they come up with an idea and the idea isn't correct, right? You spot a flaw. Maybe it's a flaw in a business process that needs to be taken account of. Like no one thought about it. And they cooked up this idea. The idea is pretty decent, but it's you have to take X into account. It is not okay to just say, "Hey, um, that won't work. You can't do that." Even if you know it can't and you have a better idea, it is literally like social suicide. Like people will think you're being rude and not appreciate you just being straightforward and saying, "Here's what we need to do." And for someone like me who's pretty analytical and autistic as well, like that's just how I communicate. I'm not rude, but I will tell you exactly what I'm thinking. So instead of just saying, "Hey, you're wrong. We need to do this idea instead." You have to literally stroke people's ego. So I have to say, "Hey, I really like your idea. It's pretty good. While I was thinking of that, there's this business process we need to take into account. What does everybody think, in the call about taking John's idea and maybe implementing this thing as well so that it meets this process? Because we all know this needs to be done, right? Or am I misunderstanding? You have to open yourself up to being wrong and at the same exact time stroking their ego and making it seem like they didn't forget something or make a mistake. And I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Or even on emails. I have sent emails with deliberate instructions to the letter, to the T, with exactly what I need and how I need it. And I will get emails back saying, "Is this what you need?" And I lose my freaking mind because I just told you what I wanted. I literally just said it. But you send me an email half assuming what I said and saying, "Or did you mean this?" No, I meant what I said previously. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you exactly what I want. Um, I've had that with requests for data when working with other businesses, and I've come to find out it is a shielding thing. People want to shield themselves from blame. It goes back to this social hierarchy accountability type thing where no one wants to be wrong. No one wants to seem like they made a mistake. Instead, it has to appear like it's a group decision, a group issue. We as a company made a mistake, or we as a team made a mistake. Not you, the team. Um, Similar thing with like um with emails. You can't sign off. Everybody knows the classic per my last email. I don't get why it's not okay to just tell people, hey, you didn't read that last one. Check back again. Like, what is the point? I'm not being mean when I say that. That isn't a mean thing to say. I'm not calling you a name and saying, hey, idiot. I'm just saying you didn't read the last email. And people will see that as confrontational, but it's just a fact. You just couldn't read. It happens to everybody. Everyone makes mistakes. And when someone calls me out on my mistakes, I don't get upset that they did because if I screwed up, I screwed up. That's all there is to it. It's no one else's fault but mine. If I made a decision, if I made a call and said we should do this and it didn't work out, who else is to blame but myself? Unless someone deliberately came in and ruined my idea by doing something, I can't blame anyone but me. But in an office scenario, it seems like accountability is something that's missing, and personal singular accountability, especially when it comes to um, enforcement of business practices and rules. For example, in my workplace, they do work from home for a weird number of days. I'm not going to say how many, but it's under a week per month that they allow work from home. So it's less than like 5 days. It doesn't make any sense. They trialed it and said that basically the managers didn't like having to deal with some of their employees and not knowing, if they're working or not because some of those employees are already not so great workers. So they decided to keep the program as it was, which basically meant there was no extra days added. So my first thought was, why is it this way? Why do we not take the employees who aren't doing their job and punish them? Why are they not just told, hey, you only get X number of days because you don't perform well enough? If you start doing better at your job, you'll get more days. It's that simple. Tie it to performance reviews. How complicated is it? And we all know managers mostly are just figureheads that exist to just tell people what to do and keep track of others. They're micromanagers. Very few managers actually do something. I really don't think they do a whole lot. But if you're having to keep track of adults like children, then those people should be punished. If they're not doing their job, then tell them that. Like punish them. Put some kind of enforcement on them. It doesn't make any sense. I really do wish in businesses there was far more accountability for individual people. If a team is suffering because one person's doing bad, talk to them. If they can't improve, go find someone else who can do their job. It's that simple. Obviously ignoring circumstances such as, difficult times in their life, a death, a pet dying, or things like that, right? That can cause some difficulty in the workplace due to grieving and stuff like that. But I'm saying on the norm, status quo, if an employee just sucks, then they suck. That just happens. It's okay. And why does the whole company have to suffer? And people who do a good job have to have candy taken away from them because someone else sucks. It is literally grade school mentality. It's like a big grade school, but somehow I'm an adult. I'm 30 years old. I'm not 30, older than that, but I'm in my 30s and I am being told hey, you can't work from home a certain number of days because, yeah, John in accounting, he's not very good at his job. So his manager likes to keep an eye on him. So the whole company just doesn't get extra days because of that. Punish John. Tell John he sucks. He only gets to work from home 1 day a month. And as he does better, he gets more. I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe you could classify this as a rant, but these are things that have bothered me since I started working in an office. Retail work was another kind of hell, strictly because of people. People can be very, very nasty. But in an office, it's another type of hell. You can hate people. You can have very good reasons to dislike people in an office. I've had some people that I could not stand, and they will not get fired even if they suck at their job. At least at my job, they will not get fired unless they do something absolutely crazy. You can coast at my job and not do a whole lot, and they don't nothing happens. They just keep that person on. It's insane. It is crazy. And I think maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I really, really wish companies optimized for human employment. Like, treat people like humans, like people, like we all have lives, like we all exist, and treat us like adults. Just just do that. And if someone doesn't act like an adult or isn't doing their job, well, call them out on it. Punish them. It's not that complicated. It's like we put on kid gloves but refuse to carry out the things that you do to kids. Like, kids get in trouble, kids get punished, put them in timeout. Why am I back in a classroom with rules and enforcement with rules, but nothing really happens? It's literally just, hey, dress like this, act like this, and that's all there is to it. But there is no real punishment for individuals who aren't really doing well, and the whole class gets punished for things. I don't know. I don't know. This is more of a rant video, but I just had to get this off my chest today. I guess I had a rough day, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. So, um, thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day, great morning, great night. Um, if you want to comment, what troubles have you had in the office? Have you ever worked in an office? And if so, what type of business did you work in, and what was your work environment like? Feel free to tell me. I'd like to hear it. And hope everybody has a good weekend coming up.